Hi everyone, this is a help video on the Pizza Shop and Burger House fraction multiplication and division assignment. So we have 4 multiplication problems, that's the Pizza Shop, and then we have 4 division problems, that's the Burger House. We're going to use this website to help model and solve our problem, because it says to read each word problem, model, and solve, so we need both of those things. And if you need some help navigating this website, then check out this video in your assignment slides. All right, first problem. There are 3 pizza boxes on the table. If each box contains 5/8 of a pizza, how much pizza is there? So we have 3 separate boxes and they each have 5/8. So our problem is going to be 3 times 5/8. And I've already modeled it here for you, but please on your screen make sure you model it for yourself as well. So if we have 3 sets of 5/8, we are multiplying. I'm going to go ahead and put all my whole number over 1, and then we can multiply across. 3 times 5 is 15, and 1 times 8 is 8. So we should have 15/8, or that is an improper fraction. So we can also make a mixed number of it. How that works is how many times can 8 go into 15? 1 full time, and then we have 7 pieces left over out of 8. So 15/8 is the same thing as 1 and 7/8, but I also want to show you this in our model. If I took these 3 slices and put them in this pizza box to make a whole, I can also put these 2 slices over here to consolidate my pizza a little bit, and you can see that I have 1 whole pizza and 7/8 left. Number 2, Sam made 8 different pizzas this time. 3/4 of each pizza was eaten. How much pizza was eaten in all? So we have 8 3/4 were eaten. So 8 times 3/4. I've already modeled this here for you. We're going to put our whole number over 1. Make sure you model this on your screen and you're taking a screenshot of your own work to put in your slides for your grade. You can always pause this video if I'm going too quickly. 8 times 3 is 24. 1 times 4 is 4. Some of you guys will notice that they're both even, so you can divide by 2 and simplify it. Remember, fraction is also a sign of division, and 24 is a multiple of 4. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. Where I can see this in my picture is if I take some of these pieces to make wholes. Oops, move this piece over here. Move this piece over here, this piece over here, and we can see our 6 wholes. Ron's small pizza recipe calls for 1.5 cups of sauce. The recipe for a large pizza calls for 3 times as much sauce for a small. How much sauce is needed for a large pizza? So we need to triple 1.5. So 1.5 times 3. So we can see here's my 1.5, and I'm tripling it. So I have 3 of these. You guys can probably see pretty quickly that I can move that half over to make 4 wholes and a half is what our answer is going to be. But we also need to show our work to get our full credit. We'll have to round the world this. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3 halves. Times 3, all whole numbers can be put over 1. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 1 is 2. How many times can 2 go into 9? 2, 4, 6, 8. So 4 full times. But that only gives us 8. We have 9 pieces, so we have 1 left over. Denominator stays the same. So this is our answer as an improper fraction. This is our answer as a mixed number. Last multiplication problem. Luca wants to double his grandmother's recipe for 4.5 cups of cheese. That calls for 4.5 cups of cheese. How much cheese will he need? So if someone is doubling something, we want 2 times the amount. So we're going to multiply times 2. So I've modeled 4/5, and we're going to double it. When we multiply times a whole number, don't forget to put it over 1. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 1 is 5. So we have 8/5. Or we can rewrite 8/5. How many times can 5 go into 8? 1 full time. We need 3 pieces. 3 is our remainder, and our denominator stays the same. How we can see this mixed number in our picture is we can move 1 piece over here to make 1 whole and 3/5. If you have a hard time converting between these two things, these two numbers here, then be sure to check out that video on YouTube on converting improper fractions and mixed numbers. Okay, now we're going to tackle Burger House, the fraction division problems. Mr. Rose uses 3.5 pounds of ground beef to make 5 burger patties. How many pounds of meat does he use for each burger? So we have to take the amount of ground beef that we have, and we're splitting it into 5 burgers. So I've modeled this here. This time I decided to use the bars, and what I did was I made separate bars and I connected them. So you can see the 3 holes and then a half. So we're dividing 3.5 by 5. When we divide, we're going to have to do the around the world if we can. So let's go ahead and do this. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7 halves. And then we're going to keep change and flip. So we're going to keep that the same. Change the division to multiplication. We're going to flip our second fraction. I'm going to go ahead and put the whole number over 1. So when I flip it, it turns into 1/5. Now when I multiply across, I get our answer. 7 times 1 is 7. 2 times 5 is 10. 7/10. It's hard to see it in this picture, but essentially what we're doing is we're taking this amount of meat that we do have, okay, and we're splitting it up into fifths. The only issue is there's no way to really know how much this portion is right here until you do this math. Once you do the math, you can see, so I'm gonna use oops, I keep clicking the circle. Once we do the math, you can see that 7/10 should be enough. There you go. 7/10. But there's no way to really know that until you do this work. So make sure you complete your work and model, take a snippet, and paste it in your slides. Grace is buying cheese for cheeseburgers. She buys 3 squares of cheese and needs to cut 1/4 of a square for each burger. How many cheeseburgers can she make? So here's my model for my 3 slices of cheese, and we're dividing 3 by 1/4. How many quarters go into whole number 3? I'm going to go ahead and put my whole number over 1, and then for fraction division, keep, change, and flip. So instead of 1/4, it becomes 4/1. When we multiply across, we get 12/1, and all whole numbers can go over 1. So this is really the same thing as whole number 12. And we can see this in our picture, because if I divided each one of my cheeses into fourths, like that, it makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 burgers. If 5 friends have 2.5 cups of fries to share, what part of a whole cup did each friend get? Now for this one, we have to be careful. Are we doing 5 divided by 2.5 or 2.5 divided by 5? We are sharing our cups of fries. So we're going to take 2.5 and split our fries into little groups for each of our 5 friends. It wouldn't make sense for us to take 5 and divide. We can't divide our friends into 2.5 cups. We're splitting our fries with 5 friends. Okay, so 2.5 divided by 5. So be careful on this problem. We'll see what makes sense in our word problem. So 2.5 cups of fries shared amongst 5 friends. Around the world, 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Our denominator stays the same. We're going to keep, change, whole number goes over 1. So when I flip it, he turns into 1/5. When we multiply across, we get 5/10, which is the same thing as a half. For this problem, to see it in our picture, we are splitting everything that we have into fifths. Now for this half, if we put a fifth over a half, that's not quite right, because we only have a half. So for this one, we actually have to split our full circle into tenths to see what we have split into fifths. So 1/2 comes from a fifth, a fifth, and a tenth. That is how many cups of fries one person gets. And our last problem, Five Guys uses exactly 2/3 teaspoons of seasoning for a batch of fries. If they use 6 teaspoons of seasoning total, how many batches of fries did they make? We're going to take our total amount and divide it into 2/3 teaspoons because that's how much we need for one batch. So we can figure out how many batches of fries we can make. So if we have a full 6 and we're dividing by 2/3, let's go ahead and put this whole number over 1. So 6 over 1, keep, change, flip. And now we can multiply across and we get 18 halves. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Okay, where do we see that in our picture? If we're splitting it up into thirds, okay, and 2/3 makes a batch. Here's 1, 2/3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then what we can do is take this third, combine it with this third to make another 2/3. So 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, guys, hope that helps.